Do the honors.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much, and we're very honored to have Dr. Reichert here with us today. Her office, her operation is in Somerville, Massachusetts. It's like equidistant from Tufts, Harvard, MIT, Boston University, all of these 250,000 students, all within like a 3 or 4 mile radius of where she has set up this incredible Greentown laboratories. And she now has dozens of startup companies all trying to capture this incredible green energy revolution, job creating, a millionaire making clean energy revolution. And it's our honor to have you here, Doctor.
Welcome, Doctor, and you may begin.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Rounds, Ranking Member Markey, and Senator Inhofe for giving me the opportunity to testify on the impacts of the EPA's regulations on American small businesses. My name, as Senator Markey just said, is Dr. Emily Reichert, CEO of Greentown Labs. We are the largest clean technology incubator in the country. Located in Somerville, Massachusetts, with 40,000 square feet of space used to enable entrepreneurs to solve the world's biggest energy and environmental challenges. The mission of Greentown Labs is to enable a vibrant community of entrepreneurs to work on their visions and to provide access to space, resources, and funding that allows their early-stage companies to thrive. We offer roughly 25,000 square foot of prototyping lab, along with co-located office space, a shared machine shop, an electronics shop, immersion in a growing community of clean technology entrepreneurs, on-site events and programs designed to help small businesses rapidly grow their networks and their companies. Greentown Labs was started in 2011 by 4 startup companies who needed inexpensive space to build prototypes. Back in 2011, our operating budget was just $99,000 a year, covering rent and shared supplies for 4 companies without any government assistance of any kind. It was a grassroots initiative. 5 years later, in 2015, Greentown Labs was home to over 40 companies operating as a for-profit small business with a budget of $2.1 million and 6 full-time employees. Overall, in 2015, 83% of our budget was privately funded in the form of members paying rent and large corporate entities sponsoring our programming and activities because they want access to the innovation coming out of Greentown Labs. Only 17% of our operating budget was from public sources, 2% of which was from federal grants, a $50,000 grant from the Small Business Administration for one of our programs. In total, we've now supported 103 small businesses since our founding in 2011. And a recent survey of our alumni has shown that 86% of them continue to grow today. The majority of these in Massachusetts, but others have relocated to Texas, Colorado, California, and Wisconsin, and continue to grow their businesses in these states. Greentown Labs tries hard to quantify the impact our companies have on our community. Today, 50 member companies call Greentown Labs home. Greentown Labs companies employ more than 400 people and provide nearly 300 indirect jobs as well. These companies and our alumni have raised more than $180 million in both public and private funding. And in Massachusetts, this is all happening in one of the most heavily regulated states in the country. Since being elected, Governor Charlie Baker has undertaken a review of state regulations. We now know that we have over 1,600 regulations that companies have to deal with to do business in the state. Many of these are the state's interpretation of federal standards, but like in many other states, in Massachusetts, federal rules act as the floor, particularly when it comes to environmental regulations. Over the last 9 years, Massachusetts has enacted a number of laws that increase our state's investment in renewable energy, clean technology deployment, and business regulations regarding these matters. It has also led to over 1 gigawatt of installed renewable energy capacity in Massachusetts as of 2015. Over the same time frame, Massachusetts has also grown up to be one of the leading states in innovation, home to thousands of startup companies, small businesses. According to the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center, a quasi-state government agency who issues an annual report on the clean energy industry and is now considered the gold standard, whose methodology is used in 10 other states, job growth in the state's clean energy sector continues to grow by double digits every year since 2010. 11.9% in 2015 alone, which represents 10,500 new jobs. For the purpose of this hearing, though, I want to share some specific examples of how companies at Greentown Labs incubator are creating new, innovative products that benefit from some of the regulations passed and under consideration by the EPA. In April 2012, the EPA put into effect regulations under the Clean Water Act to limit water pollution from aircraft and airport runway de-icing operations. In response to this, a young company in our incubator is developing a new electric-based plain wing de-icing method that will not only help airlines comply with this regulation, but will also help airlines save time and money on the runway and potentially remove all glycol, a toxic substance from the de-icing of planes. I mentioned another company in my written testimony that has benefited from the Clean Air Act. They help landfill owners to better monitor and utilize methane gas, allowing the owner to make money while reducing emissions of methane, a greenhouse gas with a much greater impact, 25 times more than carbon dioxide. Across the country, new companies like Greentown, the 2 Greentown startups I've mentioned, are popping up every day. We see them in places from LA to New York City, to Oregon, to Texas, Chicago, Detroit, even Hawaii. I know that many of the people on this panel with me believe that environmental regulations cause an unnecessary burden to small businesses. But I, in my experience, have not seen that. Instead, I've observed EPA regulations to be a catalyst for new business ideas and new, innovative products. And as this committee continues to review the impacts of EPA regulations on small businesses, I hope you will keep the experience of Massachusetts and Greentown Labs in mind. Creating regulations that can help promote a cleaner and more efficient environment can also lead to job growth and create innumerable opportunities for new businesses. Thank you again for inviting me here today and for the opportunity to speak on such an important issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Dr. Reichert, I was thrilled by your ability to lay out how new companies get created when the EPA identifies problems that have to be solved. So can you expand upon that a little bit more? What gets unleashed when there's a clear pollution or environmental issue that is identified from the private sector perspective?
Absolutely. Thank you, Senator. In fact, I think I can best do that by sharing a few additional examples of companies that have responded to environmental regulations already in effect or about to be in effect. So in addition to the young companies that I had mentioned previously, we have several others who benefit from new markets that are created by Clean Air Act regulations already in effect or about to be in effect. So one company creates coatings for copper tubing, which increases condensation efficiency in power plants, increasing the plant's overall efficiency and reducing emissions. And this company will benefit from the Clean Air Act's Clean Power Plan. A second example, one of our companies provides highly sensitive infrared sensing of methane gas leaks. 2 more of our companies provide technologies to capture or use natural gas from wellheads through the multi-phase compression or microturbine technologies that they've developed. And those companies all benefit from several different Clean Air Act regulations. One is about methane emission standards for new and modified sources in the oil and gas industry. A second is the Clean Air Act's oil and gas air pollution standards. And a third, stationary internal combustion engines, also under the Clean Air Act.
Yeah, so thank you. So that's kind of exciting, you know? You don't end the old industry. You add new technology that just keeps the old industry going, but with higher environmental standards met by innovative new technologies. So I think that's pretty much what we're talking about. And Mr. Knapp, you, in your testimony, you're saying that the Clean Water Rule enjoys a lot of bipartisan support, and that you're here representing, I think you said 200,000, 300,000 small businesses?
Yeah, the American Sustainable Business Council.
Yeah, could you talk about why those small businesses support the Clean Water Rule?
Small businesses, small business owners are nothing more than regular folk out there. And who doesn't want clean water? And that's what I have always told everybody. A small business person really is just like your neighbor. They just happen to own a business. And they have the same concerns that everybody else has. So to the degree that, that they feel that clean water is important, and they support a regulation that would, in fact, guarantee that their fresh source of water is going to be protected. So it's not unusual for the results that we get from our polling, because those are the same results you get from polling of the general public.
So can you talk a little bit about this balance between regulation on the one hand and cost to businesses with the clear positive impacts that come about because of the regulations? So that creates sometimes a little bit of a conundrum in seeing the benefits that come, as well as the obvious kind of constraints that a regulation might place upon an existing way of doing business, but yet there are clear positives as well.
Yeah, look, regulations exist and the rules exist because there is some outcome that we're seeking, that government wants to happen. Congress has passed some type of legislation that's going to require the implementation, which requires rules. So will there be impacted businesses that will be negatively impacted by a rule? Yes. But again, it is the overwhelming relationship between the negative response and the positive impact. And we know that regulations and rules will be responded to by the private sector. I mean, that's what the private sector does. They recognize where they can make money, and they go there. And if a rule was established that clearly sets a path for businesses to follow, they will follow it. Does that mean that some businesses are going to be negatively impacted? Yes, it does. But what businesses really want are fair rules. They want those rules to be set and to not be questioned all the time, because that then creates the uncertainty that we heard about here with the waters of the U.S.
So once you set the goals for social or economic or health or environment outcomes, then all of a sudden you get this incredible explosion of entrepreneurial activity to solve the problem, which is over here at Greentown, but all across America as well. And that's kind of the balance that we've always struck since the beginning of the clean water and safe, foods revolution back in the early part of the 19th century. It's always been a balance, but I think in the end it's pretty clear that the net effects of it are a healthier, cleaner society and many more jobs that were created in solving the problem. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.